people from the world, Africa, the United States, and around the world. This is Smart Mado Ajaja, the convener of Open Nigeria and Africa Unite, and the anchor of Nigeria Now. Global matters are rising. And good morning, Africa. Reggae at its best. Come on. Yes, Africa Unite. Africa Unite. And is this dream of African unity realizable? Yeah, this whole thing started with our big uncle, brother, father, great grandfather, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, a slave boy born in Jamaica who moved to the United States and started his work of uniting the African people. And his influence grew worldwide, and his effect was felt very directly on the African continent. Before God and man, yeah, to see the unification. And he told the African people during the course of organizing, the course of organizing, he was one who used the phrase that Bob Marley put into song and redemption song, emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. For none but ourselves, none but yourselves can free your mind. None but ourselves can free our mind. And Marcus Mosiah Garvey, without no cell phone, without a computer, without WhatsApp, without Facebook, without Instagram, without whatever the social media has today, he built a 6 million strong black movement. Yes. Now, if you are an African, especially the younger generation of Africans, what are you doing with your cell phone? Why are you on WhatsApp? What are you doing with Facebook? What are you doing with Instagram? What are you doing with Line and all those apps that you are supposed to be using to organize for the greater good of Africa and the African people? We are the children of Africa. We are the children. Imagine it. A man, yes, without all this, he was able to bring a people, the black people together, 6 million strong. And then by the 1920s, young Africans like Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, Kwame Nkrumah, Modibo Keita, and all those, some of them came here to the United States. They heard about this great man, Marcus Mosiah Garvey. Some of them met him personally. Some of them did not meet him, but his words influenced them. And their new consciousness of Pan-Africanism. And when they finished their studies, they all went back to Africa to start agitating, to start organizing for the decolonization of the African continent. Look at yourself today as an African. Look at yourself today as a young African. What have you done to improve the work? Yes, to drive the work of Marcus Mosiah Garvey and all those who followed. What have you done to make Africa better? And you can't tell me that you don't know anything about Patrice Lumumba, at least in the mention. I know the younger generation of African people, especially those from Nigeria, they hate to read, they hate to explore, they hate history. If you don't know who you are, where you're coming from, you will never get to a destination. Yes, and that is why history is important. And sadly, in Nigeria, they removed the study of history from the academic curriculum to make the younger generation idiots. Yes. And we're going to our Father's land. How good and how pleasant it could be before God and man to see the unification of us, the man. Hey, Adolphus, how are you? Great to see you here. Yes, yes, yes. I hope you're having a great weekend and enjoying the World Cup. Yeah. We are the children of the Rastaman. We are the children of the Ayaman. Oh, Africa, unite. Africa, unite. Unite for the benefit of your people. As you're moving. Ah. Unite for the benefit of your children. Unite yeah, all right. All right. Yes, Africa is our forefathers' cornerstone. What have we done to make Africa better? With all these gadgets that you have, what are you doing with them? Yes, my name once again is Smart Madu Ajaja. I am the convener of Open Nigeria and Africa Unite and the anchor of Nigeria Now. Global Matters are rising. Good morning, Africa, and reggae at its best on ONN. On this great day of July 2026, I'm going to be talking about the xenophobic attacks on fellow black people by South African blacks. So if you are a black man, I don't care where you were born, you are in the United States, you are in Canada, you are in the UK, you are in the continent of Africa, you are in Haiti, you are everywhere. Now, this is your discussion. It's an open discussion. I would love to see people who are Africans or lovers of Africa to contribute to this region discourse. It is very, very important that we hear the voice of everybody. We have our way. So, yes, the black on black violence in South Africa by fellow South Africans has reached a very disturbing dimension that the people of Africa all over the world must weigh into this. But before we proceed, it is important, for us to understand the spatial dynamics that has been playing out in South Africa since 1652, when the Boers landed there on a false biblical injunction that God gave them South Africa as their promised land. Yes, and not just the Boer, the English people joined them. And along the line, there was what we call the Anglo-Boer War. Yes, the war of supremacy to control the African destiny. Yeah, the destiny of Africans. And the mineral resources there, diamond and gold, were found there. So that became a hot spot in South Africa. And in 1948, they wrote on the back of a biblical injunction, especially Genesis 11. Yes, Deuteronomy. In fact, let me read it out to you. The injunction that they relied on to create the apartheid situation in South Africa, African continent, people from outside. Yes, yes, they relied on Genesis 11, Deuteronomy 32, verse 8. Acts 1.8. Yes, Acts chapter 1, verse 8. And chapter 17, verse 26. First Corinthians chapter 7 and verses 17 to 24. And Revelation chapter 5, verse 9. And chapter 7, verse 9. From this text, conclusion was summarily drawn about the racial segregation, that it was okay for white supremacy to reign in South Africa. Now, that was then. That was what led to the apartheid thing in South Africa that lasted until 1994, when the back of apartheid was crashed. And why was it crashed? Because the United States now decided that it was not going to be a part of it anymore. Yes, that was how the apartheid situation in South Africa ended. But now we are here. Really, we are where we are right now. And I'm going to read something, or I'll play something for you that will give you a background information about what took place. Yes, about what took place between then and now, and why South Africans are the way they are to fellow Africans. It's a siege mentality. It's a siege mentality. The whole of Africa united, like Bob Marley said, Africa unite. The whole of Africa united to end the apartheid in South Africa. But how come the South Africans are telling the people of Africa that they must leave their continent? That continent, the African continent, is for all African people. I don't see any reason why any African should require a stay permit or a visa to go to any African country where the black people live. Yes, their homeland. So why? Something is not right. The same thing, why the African leaders are not asking questions, or the African people are not asking questions. You go to Europe, Europe is open to all Europeans. There is no visa required for any European to travel to France. They don't require visa to travel to Belgium. They don't require visa to travel to the UK. Yes, they don't require visa to travel to Germany. So, and they keep us requiring visas to visit the next door neighbor. Yes, where people like us live. Something is not right. It to be retarded. And this is what we must fight. And this is what is playing out in South Africa right now. Listen to this.
When we think about the history of South Africa, we often hear about economics, colonialism, and racial conflict. But what if one of the most powerful forces driving a nation's history was a religious idea? Today, we're exploring the story of God, guns, and land, and how a specific interpretation of Calvinism shaped the expansion of the Boers.
Calvinism.
As the Afrikaners.
One madman.
Many Boers, their push into African lands wasn't just about finding new farms. It was a holy mission, a sacred journey where God...
Holy mission, sacred journey of God. God sent them.
Politics. It was a worldview rooted in Dutch Calvinist theology that gave moral meaning to warfare, land seizure, and a deeply entrenched racial hierarchy. As historian Leonard Thompson put it, Afrikaner nationalism was deeply infused with a sense of divine calling. So how did this happen? First, who were the Boers? They were descendants of Dutch, German, and French Huguenot settlers who arrived at the Cape of Good Hope starting in 1652. Mostly devout Calvinist Protestants. Original farmers, especially during a period known as the Great Trek in the 1830s and 40s. They were trying to escape British rule, new taxes, and restrictions on slavery. But they didn't see this as simple migration. They framed it as a biblical story, much like the Israelites leaving Egypt for the Promised Land. They saw their journey through Old Testament ideas of an Exodus, a divine covenant, and being a chosen people. At the heart of this was Calvinism, a branch of Protestant Christianity founded by John Calvin. Key ideas include predestination, the belief that God has already chosen who will be saved, and divine sovereignty, meaning God controls all of history. Now, Calvinism itself doesn't demand colonial conquest, but on the South African frontier, it was adapted. As one historian noted, South African Calvinism became a frontier faith, shaped by conflict with indigenous peoples as much as by European theology. One of the most powerful ideas the Moors adopted was chosenness. They began to see themselves as God's elect, a modern version of the Israelites who had a special agreement or covenant with God. This wasn't just a metaphor. It directly influenced their actions. They came to believe that God had chosen them for a special mission in Southern Africa.
God chose them.
They made both conquest and racial separation seem legitimate. From their perspective, if an African community resisted their advance, they weren't just fighting themselves, they were fighting against God's will. This belief system transformed how they saw the land. For the Moors, land wasn't just property to be bought or sold. It was a divine inheritance, a sacred gift from God. The communal and spiritual land ownership systems of African societies were simply dismissed as invalid. They used the Old Testament, with its stories of conquest and promised lands, as a blueprint. So, when Moors occupied African land, they didn't believe they were stealing. They believed they were fulfilling God's promise. And what about the guns?
They believed they were fulfilling God's promise in Africa.
Commandos displaced entire African communities, destroyed villages, and caused immense suffering. But this violence was not seen as immoral. Instead, it was framed as righteous and necessary. Their frontier theology presented warfare as a God-ordained test of faith. War commandos would often say prayers before raiders, reinforcing their conviction that God was on their side and approved of their actions. This fusion of religious belief with military force created a culture where extreme violence felt morally justified. To make this worldview coherent, a clear line had to be drawn between us and them. The Calvinism practiced by the Moors contributed to a deep dehumanization of Africans. They were often described as heathens, childlike, or uncivilized people who were outside of God's covenant. This kind of religious language was used to rationalize the system of racial domination. It allowed the Moors to argue that Africans had no real moral or legal claim to their own land or political power. This thinking laid the ideological foundation for the racial segregation that would later become known as apartheid. The Great Trek itself became a series of religious events, not just a political one. The most famous example is the Battle of Blood River in 1838. Before the battle against the Zulu army, 4 leaders made a covenant with God, promising to honor him forever if he granted them victory.
God granted them victory over the Zulus of South Africa. They made a covenant with God. So God is against Africans, right?
A story that perfectly blended faith, war, and a sense of destiny. This theology wasn't just an idea, it was written into law. The Boer republics that established, like the Transvaal and the Orange Free State, legally enshrined racial inequality. Calvinist ideas were used to justify denying citizenship to Africans, enforcing forced labor, and stripping them of their land. In these states, Africans were ruled over but never represented. It was a permanent structure of domination built on a mix of race, religion, and power. The road from this Boer theology to the system of apartheid in 1948 is a direct one. Apartheid didn't just appear out of nowhere. It was the political culmination of these long-held religious ideas. In the 20th century, theologians from the Dutch Reformed Church even constructed a theology of apartheid. They argued that God created the races separately, that segregation was part of the divine order, and that integration was sinful. This religious defense of apartheid was a powerful force that lasted well into the late 20th century. However, it's crucial to remember that this was not the only Christian voice. Many people, including African Christians, missionaries, and liberation theologians, theologians powerfully challenged this racial theology. They argued that the Bible was being misused to justify oppression and that the true message of Christianity demanded justice, equality, and liberation for all people. As Archbishop Desmond Tutu famously said, reflecting on the colonial encounter, when the missionaries came to Africa, they had the Bible and we had the land. They said, let us pray. We closed our eyes. When we opened them, they had our land, and they gave us the long-term consequences of using God, guns, and land are still felt today. It produced deep-seated racial inequality, structural violence, and land crises that South Africa is still grappling with. The story isn't about blaming faith itself. It's about understanding how religion can be reshaped and weaponized when it becomes entangled with power, conquest, and a sense of entitlement. The history of the board shows how deeply our belief systems can shape our actions, for better or for worse. By combining the idea of being a chosen people with armed force, they were chosen. Board leaders created a powerful worldview where expansion and domination felt not only necessary, but morally right. Understanding this complex history is essential to understanding the South Africa of today. Thanks for watching. If you found this history interesting, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more. Yes, thank you very much. Those who are joining us for the very first time, we welcome you and invite you to subscribe to our channel. And this is an interactive section. We're going to spice it with music, especially revolutionary music from Robert Nesta Marley, Peter McIntosh, and others. Now, this is the situation, this South African story, and by extension, the African story. It's the same philosophy, the same thing. Some people came from somewhere with this obnoxious, God-driven philosophy. Yes, can you imagine somebody who left, this Boers came from France, Germany, and Holland. And they were traders. They got to the Cape of Good Hope in 1652. Yes, and this is where all these things started. They came off of biblical prophecies tailored to their quest to seize Africa from that side. The British was doing theirs in the west of Africa, British, France, and all that. Yes, in the west and east of Africa. The same story. Nothing has changed. Nothing changed. It wasn't for too long. They went into the hinterland and started seizing land. Yes, the Calvinist philosophy did not involve the use of violence, but in South Africa they used it. They created an army to enforce their false ideology. Yes, and then they went, and whenever they wanted to conquer a place, they would pray to God. Which God? Is this the same God that we are talking about, or is it a different God? They made covenant with God that if he gave them the land, African land, they would serve him forever. Oh my God. Which God are they talking about? Is this the Almighty God they are talking about, or the God of Holland, God of the Boers, God of Europe, or which God are they talking about? They did all that. And fast forward. In 1948, they proclaimed the apartheid state, wrote the apartheid law of biblical injunctions to suppress, repress, and murder black people, black Africans, the original owners of the land, without question, in the name of God. Yes. On Sundays, they will go to church and praise their God. Yeah, this is the same God that they tell us is their God. They told us close our eyes, like Bishop Desmond Tutu said. Before we went praying, we had our land. They had the Bible. By the time we opened our eyes after we said amen, we had the Bible in our hands. But these people had our lands and our minerals. Yes. For as long as it took them, they seized the land, controlled the resources. South Africa is so rich with diamond, gold, and other minerals. Yes, they seized everything. Yes. And then they made the people slaves
and subservient in their land. They made them second, even third class, fourth class citizens, because there were other races in South Africa. There was the Indians, there was the black people, and the white people. Yes, the white was the first class, Indian second class. The African, my own African people, were the third class citizens in their own fatherland, where they are supposed to be kings and queens. Yes, 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 yes. In their own land, they were fetchers of waters and hewers of woods. They were the cleaners of the white man's house for over 200 years. Yes. And there came the struggle. Yes. That produced a lot of men through the African National Congress. Nelson Mandela, Walter Sisulu, Govan Mbeki, Chris Hani, Oliver Tambo, and the rest of them. They kept on pressing and they kept on fighting. Yes, they kept on fighting. Many of them were jailed. Many of them fled the country. They formed an army we call Nkonto Wisizwe, an army that was supported, trained, and funded by Africans. Yes, including my Nigeria. Yes, Nigeria hosted Mandela. He lived in Nigeria for a while. He moved around. He went to Ethiopia. Yes, he went to Tanzania. Yes, in search for freedom. The African people, for the very first time, they came together to fight for the liberation of that South of Africa. Yes, the people who were supporting the apartheid system, Britain, did not want it to end. Yes, Imperial Europe did not want it to end, including the United States. It was when the United States said it was over. That was when apartheid crumbled in 1994. And in 1994, that was the first time I traveled to South Africa. Yes, 1994, I was in South Africa as a healthcare worker. I worked at a Bethel Hospital, a formerly white-only hospital. Yes, that was when I saw firsthand what apartheid did to the minds of the South African people. Yes. So if you are joining us for the very first time, please subscribe to our channel and let us hear from you. We are trying to drive this message analogically so we can get to the root of what is happening in South Africa right now. Yes. This apartheid has not died. Apartheid is still well and alive in South Africa. It died in the newspaper, yes, but in the minds of the South Africans, apartheid still lives and it's still thriving. Let's go, Peter McIntosh. All right.
Bluetooth paired. Bluetooth connected.
In Amila, digging up my uranium. Now we gonna fight against the apartheid. Fight against the apartheid. They didn't build no schools. They didn't build no hospital for the people. They built so many prisons. Yes. They search army camps all over Africa, all over South Africa. The siege is the earth. You hold your forces from colonial powers, taking my diamond. You didn't stick me right. We got to fight. Fight, 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 fight against the party. Commander Milan, Commander Milan, Commander Milan, Commander Milan. Where we gonna fight, 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 fight against the party. Hey, Alabayo from South Africa, how are you? Fight against the party. Activities, your victimization, yeah. Resources come out of me like. I say you stay too long now. We gonna fight. Fight, 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 fight against apartheid. You know that you found. Come out of me like. Everything you do upside down. Come out of me like. You get it on yourself. We're gonna fight, yeah. Fight, we fight, we fight against the apartheid. We all gonna fight, the fight against the apartheid. Don't care, we gonna fight, fight against the apartheid. We're gonna fight, we're gonna fight. I said we're gonna fight, we're gonna fight against the apartheid. Yeah, my brothers and sisters in South Africa, for real, for real, for real. I feel really let down, for real, for real. We have suffered for so long. I don't know what history they teach in South African schools. I don't know if they teach them African history. If they understand that the black man went through slavery, the black man went through colonialism, the black man went through imperialism. They came back and did colonialism. From colonialism, they started apartheid. From apartheid, we are now in globalization. And in all this, the black man is the victim. Why kill one another? Why fight your fellow brothers? When I first went to South Africa, yes, the situation there was dire, was a very violent place at the time. When that was 1994, when the whole thing was coming to an end. Because they were not prepared for life outside apartheid. They were not debriefed properly. They didn't teach them because they did not build schools for them. They did not build hospitals for them. It was a siege mentality. Survival of the fittest. Yes, me, who is talking to you, when I first took up a job at Bethel Hospital, I was in the middle of guns every day. Yes, I negotiated a standoff, the end to standoff, involving serious AK-47. I was always in the middle because I worked in the most sensitive part of the hospital, the emergency department. That was where I was. They will shoot black people, will shoot fellow black people in the location. Yes, the black township, they call them location. The white man has the beautiful town. Yeah, in Bethel where we were, it was a very beautiful small town. Beautiful, beautiful. But in the neighborhood, that's the shanty town they call location. That was there the black people were cramped. All kinds of violence was going on there. And their oppressor loved that. They will shoot somebody and they follow the person to the hospital to make sure nobody treated him. So you can fellow black people shooting fellow black people. Yes, the violence was too much. Yes, yes, it beats me. We gonna fight, the fight is fighting someone. Everybody gonna fight. Yes. This is a sad moment in Africa's history. You know, knowing fully well as a Pan-Africanist what our founding fathers did, what they suffered, those who decolonized Africa. I am talking about, you know, the great grandfather is Marcus Mosiah Garvey. He never had the opportunity of coming in here because the Babylon was scared of him stepping his feet in Africa because that would be so electrifying. They denied him access to Africa, but his words were not denied. Bob Marley joined in. Peter Tosh joined in. Every African joined in, coming from Nigeria. The civil servants in Nigeria were taxed monthly to support the liberation struggle in Africa. Yes, to support. And I'm sure the same thing happened in Ghana and other places where Kwame Nkrumah was at the forefront. Yes, have we not suffered enough? How come is it that we cannot sit back and say, no, we cannot continue this? What is the difference between a Ghanaian and a South African? What is the difference between a Nigerian and a South African? Now, let me tell you something. They talk about drugs. Nigerians brought drugs. It's a lie. The first day I landed South Africa was the first day I saw drugs. The very first day I landed South Africa was the very first day I would have become a drug dealer. Yes, the very first day. The very first day, arriving from the airport, yes, I would have become a drug dealer. I was taking, because I was scared when I came, seeing what was taking place around me. Let me know if you are hearing me. Abaloi, please. Can you hear me now? Are you hearing me? Are you hearing me now? Hey, let someone tell me if you are hearing me, please. All right, all right, all right. So the young lady told me, hey, come with me. You're about to be robbed here. So I followed her. She had my hand and then took me to a taxi rank. Yes. And then she put me in a taxi to Rosebank Hotel. If you know Rosebank, it's a upscale part of, I don't know, between Johannesburg and Pretoria. Very beautiful little town. Rosebank Hotel. I didn't know how expensive Rosebank Hotel was until I got there. It was so expensive. But I was there already. That was my first time in the country, and I wanted to be safe. So I had to stay in Rosebank. And my room was about on the last floor. I think it was 20 something story building, Rosebank Hotel. Yeah, that was where I was. Then later in the evening, I came downstairs to the lobby, to the coffee room. Then that was when I met this white man. He was like speaking like a Briton. And then he approached me. We started talking. We started a conversation. He started asking me where I came from. I told him Nigeria. Oh, Nigerians are very, very intelligent people. I've seen them in UK and other places. So we started talking. And then he kept on trying to say something. He was communicating in an indirect way, but I knew what he was talking. I wanted him to be upfront, let him speak directly to the issue. It was drug. He said, I can make you a millionaire here. You can, there's life here. You know, if you agree to do what I would want you to do. I said, what is that? But he wasn't offering. He couldn't come out to tell me what it was. But I knew what he was talking about. So now at the time he became frustrated. He said, man, I don't think you are a Nigerian because Nigerians are so smart, you know. And then I said, look, hey, then that was when I told him, hey, I am not your kind of Nigerian. I am not a cheap Nigerian. I am an intellectual. So I don't do silly things. I am here on a mission. And that is what I'm going to be doing. I am not going to be on the street selling drugs for you. So, and I told him point blank, because he's a child of Satan. I said, don't ever come near me while I am here. And he backed off. I said, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, he backed off. So when you come telling me you are a South African, telling me that Nigerians brought drugs to South Africa, you are most stupid. I hope some South Africans are listening here. You are most stupid to associate Nigerians as with bringing drugs into South Africa. Do I support Nigerians who are selling drugs in South Africa? Hell no. I know that some Nigerians were selling drugs in South Africa. And there was a classmate of mine when I left um, where I was staying in Tokoza, another violent place. When I was living there, I met this guy in Johannesburg. Very, you know, he was my classmate in high school, and he offered me a place to stay. I told him I was going to Pretoria to pick up a job, you know. And then we said, why not stay in Johannesburg? I said, no. He said, I can offer you a place. I said, no. When we were in school, I knew the kind of person you were. I won't be here with you doing the same thing you are doing because I already know what you are doing. Then he started saying, smart, you don't change. You have not changed. I said, yeah, but that's just what it is, you know. So when you come telling me that Nigerians brought drugs to South Africa, that is too much. That is way too much. Most Nigerians who came to South Africa at the early time, they were mostly professionals. You find them, they were doctors, the nurses, engineers, and people who are impacting the South African people. I would think that the mistakes South Africans are making, they have made a very terrible blunder. I don't know if they are going to ever be able to do a damage control that we have. Most Nigerians don't go to places where they will be working for government. A lot of Nigerians are entrepreneurs. They think about how to make money, and in the process of making money, legitimate money, not the selling drugs. Those who sell drugs who are Nigerians, they should hang them. I don't have any problem. Hang them. If they violate your laws, punish them as your law directs. But grouping all Nigerians as drug dealers, people who brought drugs to South Africa, is most unfair and unacceptable. That is why I have problems with the South Africans. Big problem. All right. So what I'm saying, most Nigerians and perhaps a lot of other Africans who come to South Africa to stay, come as little small business people. And living in America, you will hear Donald Trump say that small businesses are the ones that drive the American economy. Small businesses ought to be driving the South African economy. Businesses ought to be driving the economy of Africa. And as small as they are, they may hire one, two persons. By the time you put it together, they have hired a huge percentage of the population. So Nigerians who are doing business in South Africa, I am sure, those who are doing legitimate businesses, were hiring South Africans. And now you are driving them away. You have massacred them. You killed them. We see terrible pictures. You kill them. You destroy them. You burn their businesses because you are lazy. You are not thinking about consequences. Now, those people are hired your fellow South Africans. Now, your fellow South Africans are going to be jobless. And now, when they are jobless, what does it do? Crime rates in South Africa, it has ever been high. We skyrocket because You have had a government, especially starting from Zuma, government that has not been able to create jobs. And this madness started with Jacob Zuma. Yes, a hater of fellow Africans. His son was the one who started it. I wonder where he is right now before the most recent idiot came up who claimed that in 1 year, if given the chance to be president of South Africa, he will create 1 million jobs. How is he going to create it? How? How? Okay, Africans will leave South Africa. All right? Now, South Africa will get worse. South Africa is already experiencing power failure, just like other African countries. If we go down the way Nigeria went down, if care is not taken, because of your obnoxious attitude, we are brothers and sisters, for goodness sake. The people who came to colonize us divided us. They gave us their Bible. In Nigeria, some of the two colonizers came. Some gave us the Quran. And they wrote on the same lies about God said and what God did not say. God gave them the land. God cannot give Europeans African land. God did not give Arabs African land. Look at what is happening in Sudan. Yes. Look at what is happening everywhere in Africa. And then sadly, we have an African Union that is so useless. Yes, that cannot do anything. They can't reign anything. South Africa has had terrible leaders. Outside Mandela and Thabo Mbeki, what is left for South Africa? Yes, Jacob Zuma, a disaster. Cyril Ramaphosa has followed suit. The South African economy has not been of use to the black people. Now you are driving the fellow black people who came there to invest and do everything and then employ fellow South Africans. And you drove them, you killed them, you destroyed their businesses, you massacred them, you killed their families. Yes, thumb up South Africa. Thumb up for what you are doing. Yes, at a time, we should be talking about uniting Africa to build one country. You South African, you think you are better than other Africans. What is the size of your economy? What is your population? And in your population, how many people are critically educated to drive South Africa, to drive the engine of growth in South Africa? You have some of the most hostile economic policies that prevent other Africans to invest and invest very well in South Africa. So we can open doors to access to opportunity to the poor people there. No, you don't do that. All you do is you are so easy, quick to in the wrong direction. Now, as you are killing Africans, you are driving fellow Africans. Chinese are coming into South Africa to take everything in South Africa. You don't ask those Chinese questions, and a lot of them are illegal. Yes, if you want to talk about it, a lot of them are illegal. Indians are importing Indians into South Africa on daily basis. Yes, illegally. They are there. The white people there, a lot of them are illegal. Why are you not touching them? Why is it that it's only fellow black people that you are attacking? Something is wrong with your heads. And the earlier you realize this, the better for you. The earlier you realize this, the better for you. You have betrayed Mandela. You have betrayed Oliver Tambo, great Pan-Africanists. You have betrayed Chris Hani, who was murdered right after the end of apartheid. He was shot dead. Yes, after all the work that he did. Yes, you betrayed him. Yes. You betrayed Governor Mbeki. You betrayed Walter Sisulu. All great Pan-Africanists who understood. They were calling themselves Africans. They didn't call themselves South Africans. They called themselves Africans. Now you damn crazy generation of South Africans. What do you think you are? Is it the education that you have? You don't have it. You need the rest of Africa to prop you up. The economy you have is an economy driven by white people. It ain't your economy. You are you have the population, but you are not empowered. Yes, you are incapacitated. So your population is useless if it's not the population that is driving the South African economy. Yes, yes. What use is your population if the population does not support growth? If it doesn't support access to opportunities for you. It only supports you killing fellow black people. Fellow black people. What did they do to you? They are selling drugs. Yes, they are selling drugs. How many of them are selling drugs? Yes. Okay. What's their name? Riz Plifi. Okay, you are Nigerian. Okay, you are saying, I'm reading what you have said now. Let me respond to you. I am Nigerian and I support SA. Okay. If Nigerians in Nigeria march into the forest, like SA march against illegal migrants in South Africa, ISWAP and Boko Haram would have left Nigeria years ago. Well, I support you. I say yes and no. The situations are different. But I am at the forefront of telling the Nigerian people, yes, actually, the reason people migrate is because of challenges at home. But the challenges is in Africa. Africa, Nigeria is Africa, just like South Africa is Africa. So I don't know you who is made this statement. Now, how far, what have you been doing to ensure that you mobilize like I have been mobilizing for the Nigerian people to take charge of their country? You raised a very valid point, but we must go beyond writing it, beyond commenting. We must go into the action phase. Yes, because quite frankly, Nigeria is responsible for Africa's backwardness. If Nigeria had a commanding economy, and Nigeria has harnessed all of its potentials, we won't be having the trouble we have all over Africa. Nigeria is a failure. And when Nigeria fails, the whole of Africa fails. I agree with you in that sense. About the Boko Haram thing and ISWAP. Yes, let me show you something about them. Those are what the Fulani elites brought into Nigeria because they have intention of overrunning Nigeria. For 222 years, they had the after Hausa people in captivity, lying to them that they are one and the same in Islam and Muhammad. Until just recently, the Hausa people are beginning to find out. But a little too late because they incapacitated the Hausa people. Just the same way the Boers incapacitated South Africans. The same way the South African Boers reason is the same way, the same mindset that drive the Fulani elites. They are colonial masters. They drive apartheid in Nigeria. Yes, it's the same ideology that they hold them. That's why Bob Marley said, until the philosophy which holds one race superior and another inferior is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned. Well, everywhere is war. Me say war. And until there's no longer first class nor second class citizens of any nation, until the color of a man's skin is of no more significance than the color of his eyes. Me say war. And until the basic human rights are equally guaranteed to all without regards to race. Me say what? Well, until that day, the dream of lasting peace, world citizenship, and the rule of international morality will remain a but a fleeting illusion to be pursued but never attained. Well, everywhere is war. Yes, that's why we are at war everywhere in South Africa. Yes, that is where there is war in Nigeria. There's a war as a result of too many people chasing too few opportunities. In a continent of abundance, a continent that has over 45% of the earth's resources, that has been reduced to beggars by those who come and exploit their resources, coming back and coming to tell us they are giving us aids. We have this type of terrible leaders all over Africa that cannot stand for their people, that cannot do anything for their people, but work with the imperialists to enrich themselves at the detriment of their people and at their expense. And this is why we must wake up everywhere in Africa, starting from Nigeria. Hey, my brother, you are right. You are right. They reduce the people of Nigeria to cowards. The moment is now. If we cannot fix Nigeria, South Africa will never get better. Kenya will not get better because all these people look up to us for leadership. Yeah, how come there are so many Nigerians in South Africa? Because of the terrible economic conditions at home. So if this is a wake-up call for us, it's all right. But I feel sad that it's coming from our own brothers who are massacring us for being part of them. They forgot what we did for them. They forgot what Nigeria did, the rest of Africa did when they were in trouble. Nigeria trained a lot of South Africans for free up to university levels. We were taxed for the good of Africans, the whole of Africa, especially South Africa, Zimbabwe, Angola, Mozambique. Yes, Nigeria had its fingers all over those areas. Angola, yes. Now, what are we getting? And this is the reason why we must look at ourselves as Nigerians. And then stop all the nonsense we have been doing in Nigeria that lead us to producing the worst of us as leaders. Can you imagine a Nigeria with a drug dealer as president? Yes, drug dealer is your president, drug dealer. He cannot say no. The records are here in the United States. He's a drug dealer. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, drug dealer. Kashin Shetima. Kashin Shetima. Kashin Shetima is a terrorist, the founder of Boko Haram. Why should enemies be leading Nigeria? Look at your Senate president, Akpabio, criminal. All the state governors in Nigeria are criminals. Yes. Your Minister of Defense is a terrorist, funding terrorism and helping terrorists, giving them strategic information that has led to the murder of so many Nigerian generals. We are there. And we are still in Nigeria talking about North and South, instead of talking about one real Nigeria. Yes, tribalism, religious nepotism. Even if we know now that these people are liars, they came with their bag of lies. They don't know God. They have no God. Their religion is fake. Their religions are fake. Yes, driven by economics. We had the first encounter with God. The only man, hear me now. The only man God put his hand together to create was the black man. Yes, that is why Africa is the cradle of human civilization. Yes, the only man that God put his hand together to create and put air in him was the black man. The black man is the father of creation. The black man is the father of the white man. The black man is the father of the Chinese. The black man is the father of the Indians. That is why we are the first. But sadly, we became the last. What happened? Is it that we cannot correct? Yes. So this is the moment. So what is taking place in South Africa is heinous and unacceptable. And it is happening because of the leadership crisis for which Africa is known throughout the continent. Okay, you ask again, why can't we Nigerians march against bad leadership in Nigeria? Can't we see that if Nigeria is working, nobody will leave Nigeria to go to another country? Quite absolutely, you are right. And that is what we should do now. I've been shouting to Nigerians, I've been teaching Nigeria, I've been yelling every day since the past nearly 20 years that we need to start doing something different. But it looks like Nigerians love evil men. They love bad leaders. They love criminals to lead them. When criminals lead a country, nothing good comes into that country. Nothing. I don't care. The country could be the richest country in the whole world. But if it is in the hands of criminals, nothing. I tell you, nothing. Brother.
Bluetooth, Eric, Bluetooth connected.
So, my brother, I don't know which part of Nigeria you come from. It's not late. We can start organizing. Like they are talking about election. The election they are talking about in Nigeria will lead to nothing. I can tell you, the solution to Nigeria's problem right now, as it stands right now, is not in the hands of politicians. The same people who created the problems cannot solve it. We allowed criminals to become president and vice president. Then we are surprised when these two election thieves steal 2.2 trillion that they cannot account for. Yes. All right. Let's have fun. Everybody wake up. South Africans. In Namiland. Why it's illegal in Namiland? He got me go in Namiland. In Namiland. He got me down. He had to fight against the apartheid. He got to fight against the apartheid. You're in the middle of, and you build up the bar. Yes, in our land. They build up military forces. Yes. Yes. And they are reduced. We are supported by those who want to keep us divided and trampled on. Handing down injustice. We gonna fight. We gotta end this apartheid for real. Brothers got to fight against apartheid. You see, there's apartheid in Nigeria right now, right? What is happening in Nigeria is apartheid. Otherwise, why should a young Nigerian graduate from a university for 10 years, he has no job? He's riding Okada. Yes, something is not right. So if the situation in South Africa is all that Nigerians need to wake up, they must wake up. And whether the return is, don't go looking for another country. You know, we got to battle the Nigerian system because it is hurting all of us. Africa is a black man. Remember, Zenith in Africa, black man got no recognition. Even in his land, he has no recognition. Black man has no recognition in his own land. He has all the mineral resources, but he cannot enjoy them. Yes. See, look at what is happening in Congo. Congo, the richest country on earth. You see, majority of the citizens live in IDP camps. Africa is not wanting to wake up. We have an African Union that does not work for the African people. The African Union is an extension of the European Union. Yes. And they come telling us that they are helping us. Help you for what? How will a thief who steals from you come and help you? They are not helping anyone. So it is our choice now. We must take our destiny in our hands. Africa has good people that can lead out of darkness, but we never allow them. Yes, we never allow them. We don't allow good people to lead us. Look at what is happening in Nigeria. We have to fight. We gonna fight, 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 fight against apartheid. Break from Britain. Yes, Nigeria must break away from Britain. They don't have nothing, but they control our destiny. Yes, you got your buses from colonial powers. They take our diamond, they take our oil, and come back and tell us they are helping us. They give us aid, and we jump, and we are so happy. We are crazy. It's all our fault. Black man, you gotta fight. You gotta fight. Nobody's gonna do it for you. Yes, that was Peter McIntosh, great revolutionary. He did so much work. Him, Bob Marley, and the rest of them did a lot to wake the African people up. We are not waking up yet. We are not waking up yet. Yes. What can we do to wake up? Why is it that Africans cannot unite? Look at China of the other day. 50 years ago, China was not even anywhere near where Nigeria was at the time. Look at China. China has now become a bully. Yes, China has now become a bully. China builds roads for Africans. So I know it makes me ask questions. Where are our engineers that we are training from the universities in Nigeria and everywhere in Africa? Yes, Chinese are everywhere in every corner of Nigeria. And it is like that in Zimbabwe. It's like that in Congo. It's like that in Kenya. It's like that everywhere. They are building roads. They are building stadiums for us. Now the question for the African, why is it that no African country is building roads in China? No African company is supplying electricity in the United States. No African company is anywhere in Netherlands. No African country is building anything in Germany. All we do is consume, consume, consume. Yes, everybody is helping us. Even those who steal from us, they come and say they are helping us. How are they helping you? You cannot help yourself. We are always handicapped. We are always crying. We need help. We need help. No, when are we going to help ourselves? Let's help ourselves first before we even talk about anything. How come? Look at Liberia, run down. Look at Sierra Leone, run down. Everywhere in Africa is run down. It's time we stop this nonsense and look inwardly. Something is not right with us. Something is not right with us. Something is not right. We gotta shoot this sheriff that is holding Africa down from moving forward. Ah, hey, you young people in Africa, you young people in Africa, you young people in Africa, it's time you woke up everywhere you are. Yes, we are really, if you look at it, there are no opportunities in South Africa as a matter of fact. Even for the South African people. They took everything from them. And then now, yes, people troop in from Zimbabwe. We troop in from Nigeria, from Mozambique, from Kenya, from everywhere. Yes, it's only natural that some people are going to get jealous, even if they don't understand the dynamics of their economy. To understand that these brothers and sisters from other parts of Africa actually are out there to help them gain confidence and build a country. Yes, yes. We got to ask questions. Why is Kenya not progressing? Why is Uganda not progressing? Yes. Why is Mozambique not progressing? Yes. Now, we have to tell ourselves this truth. We got to shoot this sheriff that is holding our African continent down. Who shot the sheriff? Did not shoot no deputy. All around in my hometown, they've been trying to track I down. They say they want to bring I in beauty for the life of a deputy. For the life of a deputy now. But I say, I shot the sheriff. Yes, we have a lot of axe to grind with the type of choices we make. We are victims of our bad choices. But it's never late for us to correct ourselves. No time is wrong for making amends. Yes, we have to fight the apartheid in Nigeria. We have to fight mental slavery. I am very much in tune with you, man. I love you for that. I agree with you. Yeah, so that is why if you're a Nigerian, if you're a Nigerian here, visiting us for the very first time, we have a movement called Open Nigeria Now. Yes, on Facebook. I wish I forgot to do it, but I'm going to put it, so that you can go and join. We need to build a critical mass of critically conscious Nigerians, critically conscious and patriotic Nigerians to take down the Nigerian system. Yes, we are making a lot of progress, cutting across all ethnic divides in Nigeria to let them know that, hey, we have been tribalistic for long enough and it has not helped us and it's certain not to help us. We must come out of our tribal and religious cocoons to come together and build a real country with free, fair, equal, and unlimited access to opportunity for every Nigerian to grow and develop and progress and prosper according to his or her abilities and levels of competency in a non-threatening environment. Meaning that you can be anywhere in Nigeria and not be afraid of somebody bringing AK-47 to shoot you. And we must, going forward, rededicate ourselves to the citizenship of Nigeria. Because what I've discovered, for the most part, is that Nigerians don't love their country. If you love a country, you don't destroy it. You don't destroy what you love. Nigerians are destroying their country because they don't love the country. They don't understand what love for country means. They don't understand what patriotism means. Nigerians are the ones when an election, everybody is complaining now that things are bad. Terrorists have taken over our country. But when we are given the opportunity to change, we will vote the same person that is making terrorists kill all of us. We put him back in power. Yes, we are very good at doing that. Why? Because he's from my town. He's from my tribe. Oh, we go to the same mosque with him. Oh, I go to the same church with him. Yes, we belong to the same club. You know that he's bad. You know that he's incapable of doing anything. You know that he cannot provide the type of leadership that will lead us anywhere. Yes, that guy is a sheriff. And that you must do something about. Don't vote anybody you know that is incapable leading you and making things get better. Are we willing to do so? Look at what happened in 2023. Look at what happened in 2023. We thought that 2023 was it for Nigeria to wake up and start the process of becoming a real nation. Because Nigeria has never been a nation. It has never been a country. It has been a divided entity. Yes, marching in the wrong direction. Yes, check out all the people who have led Nigeria. Tell me one person that you will lay down and die for, like a South Africans will die for Mandela. Let's tell ourselves the truth right now on this one. Yes. You see, South Africans, as it stands, although they are betraying Mandela right now with what they are doing, Nigeria, Mandela will never approve of that. Never. Because I lived at the time, I was in South Africa when he was president. I saw what he did. If they anytime they wanted to start trouble, he would tell them, don't even start. Even where I worked in Betal, when Abacha was acting crazy, when he killed Sarowiwa, Mandela was preparing to march on Abacha, march on Nigeria. South African young people, I don't know what happened now, between then and now. South African young people in the area where I live were approaching me that they wanted to join the army that will go and fight Abacha in Nigeria. Yes, where did we go wrong? So as we are blaming, as we are really blaming, we need to look at something. What happened? It's about leadership. Leadership. Mandela was so charismatic. You know, Mandela shut down Shell in South Africa. Shell was crying. They were not making money. He told South Africans to boycott buying petrol from Shell. And that was where I imbibed that idea. As we speak right now, even if I don't have a drop of gas, I am driving on a highway and there's only one Shell gas station is one that has petrol for me to buy. I will not buy. I would prefer for my car to run out of gas and I will travel somewhere to go and buy it. I never purchased Shell gas because Mandela made me understand that buying gas from Shell was buying Nigerian blood. Yes, South Africa, 1995. Very, very charismatic leader. Anywhere he moved, South Africans moved because he would never lead them astray. That was a leader. That was a leader. Sadly, he was too old at the time. That was why he did 110. But the guy who followed was a good guy too. Thabo Mbeki was a very good leader. A die-hard Pan-Africanist who never would take nonsense from South Africans trying to kill other Africans. Did you hear what he said? He told South Africans that they were chasing shadows. They knew what the problem was. They are not facing the right people. Yes, that was Thabo Mbeki. That was my brother. That's my brother. That's a Pan-Africanist. Julius Malema has distinguished himself as a real African and a Pan-Africanist. The South Africans are following devil. They are not following the right leader. Yes. Jacob Zuma was just a dumb ass idiot. A man who did not go to school, can't read and write. All he did was violence. Yes. So from him to Cyril Ramaphosa, who is neither here nor there. Yes. Cyril Ramaphosa is a pawn for the white supremacists in South Africa. That is why he has not been able to hold down the economy of the country. Yeah, that's why everything is going astray, going haywire. Mandela was a good man. Thabo Mbeki was a good man. Yes, young South Africans were coming milling around me. They wanted to know how they can recruit into that force that will come and uproot Abacha. Yes, when he killed Ken Saro-Wiwa. Yes, we need to kill our sheriff. We need to shoot our sheriffs. There are so many in Nigeria. So many of them. I am from Delta State in Nigeria. Delta State. Delta State has been led by criminals since 1999. James Ibori from Delta State. Yes. Thank you, Julius. Thank you, Julius. I love you too. Yes. James Ibori was a criminal. He was arrested in London. He was living in London. He came to Nigeria and became a state governor. For 8 years, he stole everything in Delta State. Yes, and ran away. Yes. Every time I plant a seed, he said, keep them before they grow. He said, kill them before they grow now. Yes, a lot of sheriffs in Nigeria. James Ibori was arrested in Dubai by the British authorities after the Nigerian authorities gave him a clean bill of legal health that he did not do anything wrong. You know what James Ibori did? He was the one who bankrolled President Yar'Adua's electioneering campaign off of money stolen from Delta State. What did he want? What did he want? James Ibori stole $15 million. Yes, in addition to funding Yar'Adua's campaign. Yes. Did you hear that? Are you a Nigerian? Yes. Something is wrong with us. We keep quiet while all these things are happening. We don't know that we all are stakeholders of Nigeria. Hear that? It's like Nigeria is a company. You have a share in it. And you are allowing some criminals to take your share. And then taking it is painful enough. You still come back and support them and praise them, and you are ready to kill for them. Yes, Ibori stole for 8 years. When he finished, he handed over to his cousin, Udwanga, another sheriff. I shot the sheriff. Lord, I didn't shoot the deputy. Yeah, we need to take care of the sheriffs holding us down. For another 8 years, Udwanga walloped the treasury of Delta State. Yes, 8 years. 8 years, Udwanga stole everything. Put the state in debt overhang. Yes. And the people were celebrating. Good governor. All right, Udwanga finished. Wait for the next one. And now came Ifeanyi Ato Okowa from my hometown, my home place. We shared ancestry. But I'm a Rasta man. I don't support evil. I don't support my own blood brother stealing from anybody. Yeah, because I know he's a threat to public safety. I will never support my own blood brother. I will not support my blood sister or anybody who steals from the public. Okowa, from my home place, yes, was governor of Delta State for 8 years after Ibori. He stole everything. In fact, the last one, 1.3 trillion naira. 1.3 trillion naira. 1.3 trillion naira. He stole. Yes, because he has not been able to account for it. He was arrested by the eminently corrupt EFCC. Yes. 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 Yeah, man, I'm a Rasta man. He stole 1.3 trillion. He was arrested, taken to Port Harcourt, Rivers State. When they released him, there's this thing that they do, Nigerian thieves. The political party in power, APC, the terrorist organization fronted as a political party. Then when they steal, because they are looking for members to hold the country down, they will cross over to APC and their sins are forgiven. Okowa joined the APC from his once darling PDP. The APC he called bad names. Okowa went and joined the party and all his sins were forgiven. Now Okowa has our 1.3 trillion naira in his pocket. Yes, it's not money that he worked for. He stole it. And in 2023 election, he purchased a red Igbo hat in order to fit into Atiku Abubakar's Igbo vice presidential candidacy. He paid 150 billion naira, yes, to fund Atiku's corrupt campaign. Yes, in 2023. And guess what? With all that Okawa did, destroyed data, Okawa wants to run. It's in the race to the Senate. And my people, very corrupt people, my people, very, very corrupt people. Yeah, I'm saying it, the car people, where I come from, very corrupt. I'm a lone ranger. I am not corrupt like they. I will not be ever be corrupt like they. They are lining behind him. He's their son. They want him to go and represent them in the Senate. This is a criminal who has been everything that there is to be. He was a one-time secretary to Ika local government area. From being a secretary, he became chairman of the local government area. From being a local government chairman, he became a commissioner in 3 ministries. From there, he became secretary to the state government. From being a secretary of the state government, he became a senator. Yes, for 4 terms. And then from there, he became a governor for 8 years. Now, he wants to return to the Senate. That is how the Nigerian governors behave because they have no jobs. They will die out of power with nothing because they are criminals. That is the circus that has destroyed Nigeria. And that is why millions of young Nigerians are outside. That is why Nigerians are all over South Africa being treated like nobodies, being killed in the streets. These guys are murderers. They are the problems. Yes, you can imagine that number from Delta State alone. Then you check other states. Check Cross River, Akwa Ibom, Anambra, Imo, Edo, Ebonyi. Yes, you name it, Lagos, everywhere. People, the ambition of a young Nigerian is to leave Nigeria. Yes, to places where he's not sure of, where he'll be treated like an animal. This time, we woke up. And when I look at the massive resources in Nigeria, I ask them, give me Nigeria. If after 1 year, this Boko Haram business does not stop, I will resign and leave. You know why Boko Haram? Yeah, a young man raised question about Boko Haram and the other terrorist organizations operating in Nigeria. They are operating because some Nigerians are benefiting from them. And one of those beneficiaries is Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He will never fight terrorism until his ass is kicked out of power. Never. He's not primed to fight terrorism because he's a terrorist himself. He's part of those supporting terrorism. The terrorists brought him to power. So how will you fight what benefited you? He cannot. All this noise you see about fighting terrorists is just noise that will end nowhere. He's a beneficiary of the evil. The only thing Nigerians must do is to unite and get him out of there. Not just him alone. The entire political system in Nigeria needs to be dismantled. So that is why I talk about revolution and not an election. I am not a party to any election in Nigeria. Because an election in Nigeria, I can tell you, 2027 election in Nigeria, well, it will lead where I am wanting us to go, the revolution. A Nigerian election in 2027 will produce a far worse outcome than we had in 2023. Yes, I can tell you that for free. So it's not going to happen. Yeah, but the only thing, it will lead to a catastrophe that will lead to the dismantling of the system that is holding the whole of Nigeria down. It's time. It's up to you, me, and all of us. And all of a sudden I saw Sheriff Jambra. He was aiming to shoot I down. So oh yes, I shot him down. And I shot the sheriff. But I swear it was insulting. How? It was I who shot the sheriff. And this game is a consequence. Reflected at the better of me now. What is to be must be here. The bucket Goes to the well. Tell you what. One day the bottom we drop out. One day the bottom. Yes, this speaks to the Nigerian oppressor. You know, every day the bucket goes to the well, but one day the bottom will drop out. The bottom is about to drop out for the Nigerian criminals holding Nigeria down. Yes, the hidden bags are on the wall right now, starting in the north of Nigeria, where there's a lot of movement taking place right now among the Hausa people who have gotten tired of being massacred, who have gotten tired of being misled, who have been told for a very long time that we from other parts of Nigeria are Kafiris, and so we must not be associated with. Now they are opening their eyes. The veils are falling off. They are standing up for their rights. But they can't do it alone. They need all of us. They need me, you, and every Nigerian and all Africans. Because if the Hausa people, you know their population in Nigeria, about 66 million. It's a lot in Nigeria. Yes, it's a lot in Nigeria. Out of Nigeria's nearly 250 million, Hausas are 56 million, 66 million. It's a lot. A very critical sector, part of Nigeria. Yeah, that has been held in captivity for 222 years, out of which they spent 65, going to 66 years as citizens of Nigeria, under the shadows of corrupt Fulani elites that have become desperate now and started shooting up the country. But I warn the Fulanis, for real, Fulani elites, you are exposing innocent and defenseless Fulanis to a danger, big danger. And I've always said this: I do not want what happened in Rwanda to happen in Nigeria. I please, Fulani elites, you have had your time. Your time is up. You cannot continue to mislead us. We are tired of you, for real. We are tired of your manipulation. You cannot manipulate us anymore. You are a minority in Nigeria. We have been so nice to you, allowing you. What have you done? Produce all the worst leadership for us. You infest our country with terrorists, and you think you can use that to blackmail us? But I am telling you that the people of Nigeria will wake up, and they're about time. And it started happening already. It's going to be better organized, and I will hate poor, innocent, and defenseless Fulanis to become mincemeat of the rage coming from that will be coming from Nigeria. So this is the reason you must beat a retreat. It is in your best interest. You don't have to take my word for it, but it has happened in other places. Do not. The world is seeing what you are doing. You are the aggressor. You know, massacring the Nigerian population, seizing villages. Yes, I'm beating your hands on your chest that nobody can touch you because your great grandfather's Madam Fodio told you that Nigeria belonged to you and you must keep it. But I tell you, no, you are not. When the amalgamation treaty was signed, I was not represented. I was not, my tribe was not part of it. I want us to build a better Nigeria. And you give us help, but you hate justice. And then you are the same people shooting up our country, and they expect that you should be allowed to go on shooting, and then you are rehabilitated. They call you repentant terrorists. They bring you into our armed forces. Now you have destroyed the Nigerian military. Nigeria has no military. Brothers and sisters, let me tell you, what is going to change in Nigeria is not going to come from any Nigerian military. No, Nigerian military is gone because the command and control infrastructure of the Nigerian army is in the hands of the Fulanis and their acolytes. It's time. All right, all right, all right. Yes. Good evening. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Thank you very much. You know, to all of you who have joined us. There's the hidden back on the wall. The hiddens have their backs on the wall. All right, let's fix Chemtrex 0072. Let's fix our beloved country, Nigeria. I agree with you. It's going to take a lot of effort from all of us. We must stop standing on the fence. We must come out now. Yes, everywhere we are, in our local villages, in the cities, wherever we find ourselves. Preach this struggle. preach this message of liberation. Share our messages. Yes, like, comment. Let us hear from you. We are, I can tell you, we boast that we are different from other channels run by Nigerians that you see. We are no nonsense, die hard people who love the country so much. Money cannot buy us. Nobody can intimidate us. We write our script. We say what we want to say, however we want to say it, whenever we want to say it, and to whom we direct our speeches. Yes, we should stop being afraid of Nigeria. We must remember that we are stakeholders of Nigeria. We are stakeholders of Nigeria. We own the country. Yes, we are the aboriginal owners of Nigeria. We are African. Nigeria is an African country. It's not an Arab country. We must never be ruled by Sharia or any Arab law. Yes, hear me. That is what I'm saying. Yeah, the same way you are speaking about Fulanis. Some South Africans have sentiment about Nigerians. Well, that is their opinion because I lived in South Africa. Yes, I lived in South Africa. I am not speaking from a distance. I'm not speaking from what I don't know. The situations are different. There's xenophobia, and then there's the Nigerian part is somebody bringing Arabs to come and destroy our country. Yes, that is what it is. They don't see themselves as Nigerians. Every opportunity they have is to advance the Fulani nationalism at the detriment of citizens from other parts of Nigeria. It is a very sad thing. So it's a different. Those are two different things. Nigerians are very hospitable people. We have never been known to be people who kill Burkinabes, kill South Africans, kill Ivorians, kill Liberians in Nigeria. We never. That is not our culture. But some people have it, and that is exactly what is taking place. No, in Ghana, what happened the other time, I think that a few months ago, that Nigerians were subjected to attack. And that they actually narrowed it to Igbos, in Ghana. Yeah, so that is the thing. We must stop that. This xenophobic feeling in Africa, among African people, got to have to end so we can build the Africa that Kwame Nkrumah dreamt about, the Africa Emperor Haile Selassie, Modibo Keita, Lumumba, and the rest of them dreamed about. So we can be in a place, one Africa with one economy, one reserve bank, yes, and one military. And if we had followed the script of these great men, yes, if the are there no killings in South Africa? I have videos to support that there were killings in South Africa. I've seen over 5 videos where Nigerians were clubbed to death. Other Africans were clubbed to death. I'm sure you saw that. Yes. Um, I disagree with you, man. Seriously, I disagree with you on that because the videos are everywhere. The videos are everywhere. But that's not the issue. But they should stop. They should stop attacking Nigerians. They should stop attacking fellow Africans. I will not support any Nigerian killing a South African or attacking South Africans inside Nigeria. So they should be hospitable. You have to understand the plight of the people that will be able to understand. I understand what is taking place. That is why I'm able to speak the way I speak about South Africa. Yes, when I lived there, the situation was a little different. Yes, there were some elements of jealousy, which was okay. But I went there as a professional. When there was trouble in Nigeria, they were willing to help. And a lot of people there showed a lot of respect. So now, what happened between then and now? Why are South Africans accusing Nigerians falsely of bringing drugs into South Africa? South Africans have been using drugs long before Nigerians came there. You know that if you're a South African. You know that drug has been a huge issue in South Africa. Yes, crime has been crime has been high in South Africa. Let me tell you an experience that I had. I nearly lost my life. One day I was traveling from Johannesburg to Emelo. They wanted to kill someone. Only one person that they wanted in a bus. They blew up a whole bus. Yes. So Nigerians are not criminals. They, they, they will not do violent things. I am not holding brief for any Nigerian who goes to South Africa to do anything. I lived there for 2 years. I was never charged with any crime. In fact, there was a Nigerian restaurant that I went to in Johannesburg. I came with my driver from Betal. We went in there. I told him, let's go and eat some African food, Nigerian food. He was so excited. We were there. The next thing we had everybody flying the window running. So I refused to run. The police came and asked me, why are you here? I said, what am I? I am. This is a restaurant. He said, why are you not running? I said, run for what? And for who? I didn't do anything that would make me start running. And then you shoot me. And then there's another person gone. No, I'm not going to run. So he said, do you know what this place is about? I said, as far as I'm concerned, this is a restaurant. I am eating. I'm sure you see my hand in a plate of food right here. And then he asked me about to show him my immigration papers. I reached out and showed him. He called and confirmed. And the driver who brought me to was a South African. Yes, 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 yes. So, and then that was how I left there. And the police officer told me that the guy, the owner of the place, is a drug dealer. I said, well, I am not a drug dealer, so I don't care about deal with him. So I left there. I am not a criminal. And there are many Nigerians. I would think the majority of Nigerians in South Africa are not criminals. But the loud few criminals, those are the ones we're going to hear. But I know too, South Africans who connive with Nigerians in criminality, especially from the South African Defense Force. Their police, South African police is very corrupt. The ones that I know in what I saw in Johannesburg. They are the ones who front for these drug dealers. They will protect them. And then when the Nigerian does not, they stop the Nigerian drug dealer. Yes, the police in South Africa, very, very corrupt. I know them. They come to extort the Nigerian drug dealers for money. And anyone who does not have money to give to them when they come, they shoot him, they kill him. They killed a lot of Nigerians while I was living in South Africa, drug related. We don't pity them because you invited them into your life. No police will come and kill me over drug dealing because in the first place, I'm not dealing in drugs. So you have no business being around me in the first place unless you are looking for something else or you are bloodthirsty, you just want to kill a Nigerian. But there were a lot of Nigerians who were killed and they were involved with drug dealing. And it served them right because they were messing with the law. And then the criminals on the other side of the law, the police, who work with them, who protect them, when they come to give them money, some of them will give up whatever they have. Maybe they give their video playing set. That was what they were doing then. If they didn't have money, they would give them their electronic gadget. They will take and go and sell. South Africans, black police officers, very, very corrupt. I know them. All right. So I am not standing here to make a case for any Nigerian who is involved in any criminal act. If you find them, don't take laws in your hand to your hands like the South Africans are doing. Hand them over to the police. Let the police deal with them. Send them to court. The court prosecutes them and send them to jail or whatever punishment you give to them. If you have to shoot them, shoot them. But you coming uh, from the streets because you are a citizen of South Africa, going from shop to shop, house to house, demanding for immigration papers from fellow black people is wrong. I am one of those. Now, if you know what it takes to be a Pan-Africanist, I am one of those who do not want Africa to have any borders anymore. Yes, if you're South African, you can migrate to Nigeria and live there. Nobody's going to trouble you. That was what our founding fathers wanted. That was what Samora Machel wanted. You remember Samora Machel? I'm sure you're a South African talking to me. Samora Machel died because of South Africa. That was why Nelson Mandela, his friend, decided to take his widowed wife, not because he wanted to get married to anybody at the time, at the age. Samora Machel was blown up in the air, mid-air, by the apartheid South Africa. Mozambique was a frontline state. Yes. So I know the history of Africa. I know the history of South Africa. I know the history of the neighbors of South Africa. I know the history of the South African region very well, down to Angola, and what Nigeria did and what other African countries did to support the liberation movement in South Africa. I'm sad because most South African young people, maybe perhaps they don't know or they just don't care, have decided to turn the heat of on fellow Africans. We do understand that there are no opportunities there. I saw it. I went there as an essential worker. There were not many South Africans qualified to do the type of job that I was doing. I wouldn't be one of the Nigerians who would migrate to South Africa to go and just be running around the street looking for work. And that's what gets them into trouble of dealing with drugs. Some of them go without any defined objective. I went there as a professional, served the people of South Africa. I'm a registered nurse in South Africa. I have a South African nursing license as we speak here. And I have nursing license in 5 countries. Yes, so that was why I went there. I am not the type, or was not the type who went to South Africa with nothing in his hand. I went there to provide them what they could not have. In my time, we were only 9 orthopedic nurses in South Africa, the whole of the country. In fact, companies, hospitals were wanting me every day until I left there. So I had what South Africans could not give. So that stands me out. But is that a reason? Is there any reason why fellow brothers, we are brothers? They just divided us. And that's what they do. They divide everywhere they want. They divide to conquer the people. So we are fighting their wars. And they are happy seeing us die in numbers. Every African that dies promotes their well-being. Yes, grows their economy. Yes, you guys don't know it because nobody explained it to you. But I'm taking my time to explain it to you. It's the same thing that is happening in Nigeria. When the Arab Fulanis are killing fellow people, the Arab people, Saudi Arabia, they enjoy. Those who make the AK-47 and those who make the bullets, their economy grows. Africa loses everything. You lose the human being, you lose the potential, you lose your economy, and they gain everything. And then every time they destroy, it is their companies that will come to say, okay, we can fix your country. Yes, what are you going to give? You give your mineral resources. You know what is taking place in Congo. Yes, you saw what took place in what's the name of this country? Rwanda. Yeah, when they slaughtered over 1 million people. Whose loss is that? That was Africa's loss. That was Africa's loss. Yes. Okay, South Africans don't believe that we are not brothers. Are you a South African? From the way you answer, I'm not sure. Are you a Nigerian? Yeah, we have to start from Nigeria. Is Yoruba man my brother? Does he see me as a brother? Does the Fulani man who behaves like he's an Arab, does he see me as a brother? Yes, we have to be brothers first. If you cannot be a brother at home, you cannot be brother anywhere. And this is what is so painful that the black man has not been able to grab. Do you know that the African Union Secretariat was built and handed over to Africans by China? They built it, bugged it, and then gave it. And we are clapping for them. Oh, Chinese are helping us. Chinese are not helping you. Chinese will never help you. You got to help yourself. Yes, Europeans will never help you. When they are happy, when they give you one, they take 20. Yes. They handicap us, make us incapacitated. We believe that there's nothing we can do for ourselves. We're always looking for help. We need to help ourselves. It is in the process of helping ourselves that we discover our inner strength. We discover that we are brothers. Why should you, South African, going to buy something that Nigeria has from Europe? Yes, that's the thing. We are trained not to trade with one another, to make one another look like we are stupid. Yes. So the consequences are what we are dealing with. And this is the reason why. If South Africans like, from what I know now, I think that their country is about empty now. They can keep their country to themselves. But there are consequences. The African people came together for them for years until 1994. Who knows who is going to be needing help tomorrow again. They may come back tomorrow again. We'll tell them no. For what you did in the past, we are not going to. Like, South Africa has a lot of damage control to do, seriously. Unless someone like Malema comes to power, then the people of Africa will not be able to deal with South Africans like brothers anymore. Yes, because of this behavior. Cyril Ramaphosa doesn't look like someone who wants to solve this problem. Yeah, he's still talking trash. So who cares? I feel sad. Again, that is why we must fix Nigeria. So if you're a Nigerian watching me now, this is the reason why you must go beyond complaining and move into the phase of taking action. If we don't take action, we will never, we will never, we will never push Nigeria anywhere. And Africa will be stopped if Nigeria is stopped. Bluetooth connected. Yes, reveals the truth, revelation. All right, all right, all right. We need a revolution in Africa, starting from Nigeria. Yes, a revolution to make a solution. Too much frustration, so much frustration. Hey, I don't wanna live in the past. Can't trust no shadow in the dark. I wish you could see earth in the sun. The prisoners must be free. Yeah. Never make a politician run to her favor. He will always want to control you forever. Is the fire? Let it burn. Let it burn. Run, run, run. You can press the flop. Yeah. We gotta send them out. Yeah, 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 yeah. Africa, unite. That's the only way out. Africa, unite. Hey. Revelation reveals the truth. All right. Hey. Yeah. Yeah. All right. All right. Brothers and sisters from Nigeria, across Africa. Who hit you after a car accident. Thank you. I just got $100,000 for an accident I was in last month, and I didn't sue the other driver. Thank you. Yes, you know, it feels great to have the opportunity to talk to brothers and sisters from across Africa. Hey, yes, what can we do? You know, our actions today as Africans betrays the energy of those who fought for the decolonization of our continent. I think we should think very deeply, reflect on our history. Yes, history of slavery, history of colonialism, history of imperialism, history of apartheid, and now we are dealing with globalization, which to those forces, imperial forces, is a meal ticket or a certificate of occupancy. Yeah, for them to own Africa and its people. Yes, this generation should do a lot better for real. We should look at what the likes of Emperor Haile Selassie went through, the likes of Modibo Keita, Dr. Nandi Azikiwe, Kwame Nkrumah, Yese Couture, Samora Machel, who was blown up in the air by apartheid South Africa, Thomas Sankara, who died because he talked about the oneness of Africa. So you, this generation, do you rather want us to continue to limp or to enjoy the great gifts, endowments? Yes, in Africa. You want us to continue to import what is produced, what we have as some raw materials in our place, in our countries? Why is it that it is not us who are processing the gold, the diamond, the uranium, the lithium, and then selling it to those from outside who want them so desperately? Why is it that their companies come to our African continent only to excavate the raw materials, and they don't build any companies, they don't build anything that will support the people, provide employment for them? Something that we need to think about, and it's about leadership. We have men and women who are capable of producing that type of leadership. Look at what Ibrahim Traore is doing in uh, Burkina Faso. Imagine if we have 20 Ibrahim Traores in Africa right now doing the same thing that he's doing in Burkina Faso. You know the continent will be lighted up. Ibrahim Traore is a Muslim, but he doesn't see himself, he does not subject himself to the authority of the Arabs, like those in Nigeria have subjected themselves. At the time the world is moving forward, somebody is telling us about Sharia. Can you imagine? When the world is moving up in speed of light, you are telling me about Sharia. What will Sharia do for me? A Jim Crow, a Jim Crow, a Jim Crow Arabic culture. Yes, to replace the culture of kindness of Africa. Yes, in the 21st century. That is sad. In Nigeria, people are still talking about where the president comes from. Oh, he has to come from the east. He has to come from the west. He has to come from, it's the north, it's town of the north. It's not, it's town of the south. Nonsense. Instead of, let it be the turn of the best, after the best, and after the best, and after the best. Like other countries, especially Europe and America, where they understand how to measure progress. But in Africa, we are marching backwards. We should be ashamed of ourselves. Yeah, for what is happening in Africa. And now use this as a reason to wake up, to say, we have had enough. Let us grow now. That is what I want to be hearing, and not about telling someone he's from Nigeria, he's from Sierra Leone, he's from Ghana, and he has to leave South Africa. No, nobody needs to live anywhere. That is African continent. Let us enjoy the beauty of our continent. Let us build a continent that has no border. Yes. All right, all right, all right, all right. And below, yeah. Would you be loved and be loved? Africa, don't let them fool you. Or even try to school you. Oh no, we got the minds of our own. So go try if what you think it is destroy. Love will never leave us alone. Or in the darkness, shall come out. Love, would you be loved and be loved? Yes, let us be peace through justice all over Africa. Yes, we have had enough. We have had ourselves enough. We must remember our history, who we are. Yes, we must remember that Africa is the cradle of human civilization. Yes, that the first and only man that God made by with his hand, physical hand, was an African. Africa is the father of the Chinese. Africa is the father of the European. Africa is the father of India. Everything started from Africa. Yes, come on, let's go. Yeah, 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 yeah. Hey, uh-huh. Haile, Haile, only the would you be loved and be loved? And be loved. All right, all right, all right. Could you be loved? Could you be loved? Africa, could you be loved? Yes, say something now. Or forever be quiet. Rise up. Rise up, my brothers. South Africans, Nigerians, then Ghanaians, so Senegalese. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. Say something. Ah, all right, all right. It was such a great moment here being with you. Thank you very much. I wish I could go on and on and on. But join us same time, same station. Next Sunday, we hold this program. Yeah, Talk to Africa. That is what we call it. Yeah, we're going to be holding this. Let's Africans talk to Africans. Look, brothers and sisters, come on, let's be for real. We are brothers and sisters. Let us show love because things change. You never know who is going to be next, needing help tomorrow. Let us show love. That is what we are as African people. We are a hospitable people. Our hospitality was what the people took for granted and then colonized us, enslaved us, imperialized us, brought apartheid, and now globalization. It's time the African people look out for themselves. And that is why the unity of Africa is compelling. Yes, it's very, very compelling right now that we need to come together. Who said that we cannot come together? If the Europeans can come together, there's no reason why African people cannot come together. The Europeans who are robbing Africa, they came together and destroyed all their boundaries so that Europeans can move from one place to the other unencumbered. But they support us applying for visas for nothing, for nothing. Yes, all we need to do just build infrastructures, met all those borders, provide access to opportunity for our people, and let's see if Africa will not overtake. They are scared. That is why they want to keep Africa in bondage. And so we'll continue to need help for them. No. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery, Africa. Let's go. So, see you next Sunday. Oh, pirates, yes, they're robbers. So that the American ship. Minutes after they took yes, one Africa. Love from South Africa, I love you too. But my aim was made strong by the hands of the Almighty. We forward in this generation by the hand of the Almighty. We forward in this generation triumphantly. And won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? Yes, all I ever heard. Redemption songs, redemption songs. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. Number ourselves and free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy. Cause none of that can stop the time. How long shall they kill our prophets? Cause none of them can stop the time. How long shall they kill our prophets? While we stand aside and look. Ooh, some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? Yes, all I ever heard. Redemption songs, redemption songs, redemption songs. Much love, much love. Thank you very much from Nigeria, Africa, Senegal, Europe, wherever you are. Much love. We love you. Thank you very much. Come see us again. If you have not followed us, please do now. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. Whoa, have no fear for atomic energy. Cause none of them can stop at the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Yes, some say it's just a part of it. We got to fulfill the book. Hey, won't you help to sing? Hey, and got to feel another song of freedom. Yet all I ever heard, yeah, Redemption song, yeah. Hey, redemption song. All right, good night. Bye from the United States. I love you guys.